WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Tommy Lopez. We start in Columbus with a discussion that could decide the future of a school superintendent. We're awaiting the results right now. The Columbus School District Board members are in a closed session as we speak. They've told us they hoped to vote tonight on whether to extend the contract of Superintendent Philip Hickman. Tonight was a regularly scheduled meeting in Columbus. And we don't know the details of this potential agreement, but Hickman is making $175,000 a year. We know Columbus hired him in 2014 and that he's expected to stay in this position at least through the spring of next year. We hope to have an update sometime tonight. There are more steps forward today toward the possible sale of the Oktibbeha County Hospital. Supervisors said they want to hear from groups interested in buying OCH. They decided today to publish their first request for proposals. If they are to sell the hospital, they want yearly revenue at least $150 million. They also want interested groups to have a plan to retain hospital workers and to commit to making capital investments. Starkville's Ward 1 Alderman's race is declared a tie. It heads to a runoff on May 16th. The Republican Executive Committee reversed an earlier decision on some affidavit ballots. GOP leaders met today and they decided that only one of the three contested affidavit ballots will count. That means the race between incumbent Ben Carver and challenger Jason Camp is now tied at 104 votes each. Camp originally led by one vote. That was before the county committee allowed two affidavit ballots. That gave Carver an apparent one-vote win. So today they made that decision to count only one of those contested ballots. Camp tells WCBI that this is not the fault of any candidate. He says there really wasn't a clear understanding of the election law.
And the reason for the rejection was because the gentleman moved from the county to the city, had not changed his address 30 days prior to the election.
That Ward 1 runoff between Camp and Carver, again, that's Tuesday, May 16th, coming up next Tuesday. And there's a dispute over ballots in another Golden Triangle town. Some elected officials are claiming that people have been manipulating Columbus absentee ballots. State Representative Kabir Kareem and Lowndes County Supervisor Leroy Brooks made statements today. In 3 of the 5 Columbus races this past Tuesday, one candidate received an overwhelming majority of those absentee ballots. In 2 of those races, the candidate who got the most absentee ballots was trailing after the machine vote tally.
I am familiar with how these ballots are manipulated, and that's a great concern with me. People should not be disenfranchised, and the intent of their votes should count. Not someone going in marking the ballot for them and they not being aware of it. That should never happen.
That does raise some alarm, and not just me personally from my seat. It's just bringing awareness to folks who are voting by absentees to make sure that your vote is being counted for the person that you wanted to vote for.
There were nearly 1,000 absentee ballots in last Tuesday's Columbus primary races. That's more than 1/5 of all the votes. Crews expect the area to be clear by the end of the week near the Houston factory that burned to the ground recently. The cleanup continues 3 days after the old textile factory burst into flames. Inside, there were 2.2 million pounds of polyfoam, which can potentially be harmful. Crews are still evaluating the amount of waste there at that scene. FEMA is still assessing the damage in North Mississippi after the tornado outbreak at the end of last month. The storms destroyed 76 buildings and caused major damage to nearly 200 others on April 30th. The worst hit areas were in Montgomery County and Holmes County. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency says that FEMA hasn't decided yet if there will be federal assistance for those recovery efforts. A final decision on that could come by the end of the week. New tonight, one man is still in the hospital after a Sunday evening car crash in Lowndes County that involved 3 young children. The Mississippi Highway Patrol says it happened on Highway 69. At least 2 people were ejected from one car that was carrying 3 adults and 3 young children. 1 man and 1 child were airlifted from the scene. The child was treated and released. That crash is still under investigation. Let's go to our weather tonight. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is in with us. Keith, it's looking clear tonight.
All clear. We have a 95% full moon shining overhead tonight. That's how it looked earlier this evening in Starkville at MSU. Not too shabby out there. Temperatures right now range from the upper 50s to the mid 60s. Our forecast for Tuesday, sunny, 87 degrees, a little bit warmer than where we have been. Now, we are watching this big mass of clouds and storms out west. That could give us some rain by later this week. Full forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Keith. There will be no indictment in the shooting death of Columbus Mayor Robert Smith's son. Davius Richard Smith was arrested and charged with murder in the death of his father, Robert Smith Jr. That was in December. A Lowndes County grand jury returned a no bill in the case. It means there was not enough evidence to warrant prosecution. That shooting happened December 14th at the Smith home in Temple Cove. Davius Smith's attorney said the mayor's grandson was acting in self-defense.
He was defending himself and his mother. Sad situation. It's terrible that a life was lost, in particular my client's father. But he was defending himself, which he has the right to do, and which the grand jury found that he had the right to do.
Smith was previously a nursing student at EMCC and had no criminal history. The woman accused of putting a bodily fluid on a hamburger bun has been indicted by a grand jury. Sky Samuel was indicted for selling unwholesome bread. That's the charge. A witness told Columbus investigators that they saw what happened allegedly. Prosecutors say the incident occurred at Jack's on Highway 45 in Columbus on or near January 7th of this year. Jack's apparently fired Samuel for an unrelated incident before being notified about a bloody hamburger by another former employee. A trial date has not been set there. U.S. attorneys are asking a federal judge to dismiss a wrongful arrest suit Kevin Curtis filed. Curtis is the Tupelo man who was originally facing a charge for sending ricin-laced letters to the president, Senator Roger Wicker, and Lee County Judge Sadie Holland. Curtis was cleared shortly after his arrest. He's arguing that he was held even after federal agents had targeted another man as the one responsible. A federal judge still has to rule on the motion.
Well, check this out. Some big hail falling in Denver, Colorado today. Rivers of rain and hail. Some of this was as big as baseballs, if you can believe that. And all of that active weather out that way is going to come our way. Look at that video right there. Wow, amazing stuff. But that system could give us some storms later this week. Your full forecast is next.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Phenomenal weather again for Tuesday. All the sunshine here from sunrise to sunset. 65 at 8 o'clock, 82 for your lunch hour. Get out there, make the most of your lunch break tomorrow. 87 degrees at 4 o'clock. So we're looking pretty nice. Widespread mid to upper 80s around here. A few of you could get a little bit warmer than 87. We'll just wait and see. This is our Alpha Insurance time lapse from downtown Tupelo at Fair Park. No clouds in the sky today, and that has been the story for the last few days, and we are still currently clear. There is the 95% full moon shining overhead right now. It is a great Monday evening across the board. We are in the 60s in most spots here in our area. Some spots in the region still in the low 70s. We're going to take it down to the mid 50s tonight. Quite comfortable. The wind is really calm out there. Much colder up here across the Great Lakes. Freeze warning still at this point in time of the year. Upper 20s expected up there in Michigan and parts of Ohio and Pennsylvania. Now, the opposite side of the story is out here across the high plains of New Mexico and Colorado. Rain and storms, some monster-sized hailstones. And look at this. We showed you that going to break. And some of these things in the Denver metro area, just ginormous. Look at that. incredible hail earlier today across the Denver area and many other spots there in Colorado and New Mexico. The system responsible for swirling down there in Arizona, this thing will be coming our way. Now that will tap into some tropical moisture, and we will likely see some thunderstorms develop here on Thursday. A complex will try to get across the Mississippi River late Thursday into Thursday night. So we're going to be watching the western horizon during the day Thursday. We're all clear here, but Thursday evening, Thursday night, some of those storms could get into Mississippi. Some of those could remain strong. We'll just wait and see how it all plays out later this week. Now you can see high pressure will remain in control of our weather for tomorrow and also for Wednesday and basically all of Thursday during the daylight hours, and then we'll just be watching those storm complexes back to the west. That system will clear out Friday, so we're looking pretty nice for the weekend too. So no major issues this week aside from that one speed bump late Thursday into Friday. 87 tomorrow, pushing 90 on Wednesday. The old records on Wednesday, low 90s. I don't think we're going to do it, but we will be close. 86 on Thursday. And then pretty nice weather returns for the weekend, too.
We have been pushing records in terms of high temperatures a couple of points in the last month.
Actually, just kind of coming out today, the southeastern part of the country really flirting with all-time record highs so far this year.
Man.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, all right, Keith, thank you very much. An area school honored the 8th of May with a celebration today. They took advantage of that good weather. MSMS students put on a performance at Sandfield Cemetery in Columbus. It's to remember the Day of Emancipation. On this day in 1865, Union troops came into the town and effectively ended slavery in the area. Area baseball teams are hoping their travel plans in the near future include a trip to Pearl. Robbie has highlights coming up in sports tonight. Stay with us.
Watching WCDI News at 10 with Tommy Lopez.
May is Better Sleep Month. Tonight, Health Talk with Baptist is talking about sleeping soundly.
Hello, I'm Leslie Albright, part of the respiratory therapy team at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. I'd like to talk to you about sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a sleep disorder characterized by abnormal pauses in breathing or instances of abnormally low breathing during sleep. Apnea is a pause in breathing with no movement of the muscles. Each pause in breathing can last from 10 seconds to minutes and may occur 5 to 30 times or more an hour. Each abnormal low breathing event is called hypopnea. Sleep apnea not only affects adults but also some children. The Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle Sleep Disorders Center treats a variety of sleep-related problems. Obstructive sleep apnea is a nighttime breathing disorder and the most common problem seen in the center. Signs include loud snoring, abnormal breathing, and excessive daytime sleepiness. Narcolepsy is a disorder of excessive daytime sleepiness, characterized by sudden and uncontrollable attacks of sleep. Insomnia is the ability to fall asleep or maintain sleep. Restless leg syndrome, or periodic limb movement disorder, is a repetitive movement problem that interrupts sleep and may be present with insomnia. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, and we will discuss the signs and symptoms of sleep apnea.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
Coming up, do or die games tonight in playoff baseball and fast pitch. We'll have highlights from New Hope and Manatchee versus East Union next in sports.
Here's WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe.
The Gold Glove awaits for many of our area teams who remain in the baseball and fast pitch playoffs. Tonight, New Hope was one win away from advancing to the 5A North Half Final, but they had to win on the road once again at Germantown to advance. And a great start in the first. Tyler Murphy laying down the bunt. This would be a wild throw over to first. That means Clay Williamson's going to round to score. He's always coming on as a pinch runner, and he gets the Trojans on top 1-0. Then next up, one on, Carson Forrester. Big C says, see you later. A two-run bomb to left. New Hope goes up 3-0. The Mavs would answer with 3 of their own in the first inning to tie it after 1, but it was Drew Pounder's 2 RBI hit in the 6th that ultimately won it for the Trojans. New Hope going to the 5A North Half Final with an 8-5 win over Germantown. To fast pitch from tonight, Game 2, Mantachie East Union. Winners going to their first ever state title in 2A. And the Mustangs up 4-0 in the second. McKinley Montgomery, liner up the middle, brings home a run. Great job by East Union to stay with it, though, getting you out at the plate and doubling off the runner, trying to tag at third. So Lady Mustangs would lead 5-0 after 2. Here comes the Lady Urchins. Emily Coggins going to connect on this one, putting it into right for a base hit. Katie Boatner, she's going to cross the plate. It's a 5-2 game after 3. But when momentum swung East Union's way, Mantachie delivers. Look at this catch right here by Jade Miller. Phenomenal play at the fence that would keep East Union off the board, but the Urchins never gave in. Rebecca Sheffield in the clutch. A base hit would make it a 1-run game going into the final inning, but it would be Mantachie's night. Lindsey Barber going to force the pop out, and that would be your game winner. Mantachie is heading to their first ever fast pitch state championship. They're going crazy as the Tatch, the Ramblin' Wreck of Tachi Tech, they're going to the state title game with a 5-4 win over East Union in a phenomenal series to finish up at East Union. So your fast pitch state title games, they start Wednesday down at Freedom Ridge Park in Ridgeland. Tupelo is in there. They'll take on Harrison Central. They are our big area team that is going to be headed down to Ridgeland. Then we've got area teams 1A through 3A. In 3A, Moorville's headed back trying to defend their title. They'll take on Choctaw Central. Mantachie will take on the defending state champs from Taylorsville. And Hamilton, they will be playing for a state title as they will take on Boga Chitto. In baseball, North Half Finals. We meet again, Oxford New Hope. That's right, the Chargers were able to take out a pretty tough Lewisburg team, so it's Oxford New Hope again for the right to go to the state championship. Tupelo, Ripley, Corinth all in there. From 3A to 1A, Moorville, Kossuth, East Union, Inglebar, TCBS, Smithville, and Natawan all in there. We'll have all the highlights and get you all set for a great week on the Diamond in the playoffs. So speaking of the Diamond, things are getting hot and heavy in the SEC, and the newest baseball polls are out in college baseball, and MSU staying inside the top 10. Well, actually, they moved up into the top 10. Now at number 9 of the USA Today coaches poll, you see the SEC well represented. So is Southern Miss now. They're at 21. And MSU, in between the major collegiate polls, 6th, 7th, 9th, and 13th. Looking pretty sharp right there. The SEC standings has MSU in Florida in a tie for first at 16-8 in the conference. Ole Miss in the middle part of the area at 11-13. The bottom 2 teams will not make Hoover, so Georgia, Alabama right now are on that cutoff line. Ole Miss will be in good shape. They got a good chance to try to bounce back this weekend. But first with Mississippi State, they're going to be in Athens taking on Georgia. That Saturday game will be on the SEC Network for Ole Miss. They will be against Texas A&M. Their Saturday, Sunday games will be on the SEC Network. Some interesting games there for Ole Miss. They need to take 2 or 3. They're on the bubble right now to make it into a regional, so the Rebels could desperately use a series win over the Aggies to push their RPI over the top. And lastly, news of note from tonight. New Hope wide receiver Jeremy Tate has committed to Memphis. Big-time up-and-coming receiver for the Trojans. An early signing period was officially approved by the Collegiate Commissioners Association, so there will be an early signing period for 72 hours from December 20th to December 22nd. So keep an eye on that. We still have National Signing Day, first Wednesday of February, and also Bill Armstrong, longtime assistant with Andy Kennedy at Ole Miss. We'll head over to Bill Wade's staff at LSU. That's it for sports. We'll get a last look at your forecast when we return.
We have some breaking news tonight. The Columbus Municipal School District Board has just voted to not extend the contract of Superintendent Philip Hickman. The vote was 3-2 tonight, so his contract runs through this school year, through the spring of 2018. Keith.
Weather-wise, just like summer for tomorrow and Wednesday, mid and upper 80s. Some storms return late Thursday, probably Thursday night into Friday, and we'll clear it all out, Tommy, for another gorgeous weekend.
Yeah, gorgeous, low to mid 80s, looking good again.
And the air still is fairly dry, so it's not oppressively hot. It's just hot or warm.
Yeah, and very comfortable lows, too.
Yeah, still comfortable tonight. We're in the 50s.
Yeah, all right, Keith, thank you. Thanks for joining us. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is coming up next.